Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Gleason, and welcome as ESPN Classic presents one of the most dramatic games in baseball history. Game 7 of the 1992 NLCS between the Atlanta Braves and the Pittsburgh Pirates. From the depths of obscurity, Atlanta's Francisco Cabrera accomplished a feat that had never been done before in playoff history. No game had ever ended with the trailing team getting a 2-out game-winning hit. With a preview of the 7th and deciding game, here's Mark Schwartz and Ray Knight with a Vintage Sports Center report.
This season, the Pirates and Braves met 12 times. 11 of those games were decided by 2 runs or fewer. We can't buy a close game here in this NLCS, Ray Knight, and you're still freaked out about that game that Avery pitched.
Well, what has me freaked out is the fact that Doug Drabek has not pitched well. He's one of the premier pitchers in the game. Avery has struggled, only going a third of an inning. Then tonight, Glavine just getting hammered. I've never seen a situation where such quality pitchers have had such a tough time getting past the second or third inning.
So how do you explain it?
I don't explain it. I guess we can go to the 3-man rotation. These guys are not used to doing it, although Jack Morris did it last year and was very effective. Cone has struggled in his start over there in the American League in his second start after 3 days rest, and that's the only explanation I have. But here we have 2 guys tomorrow, Smoltz and Drabek, going on 3 days rest.
Now, if I'm Bobby Cox, I got Smoltz. He's pitched the best of all of my starters. I'm confident. If I got Jimmy Leland, how confident can I be in a Doug Drabek who hasn't given me 5 innings yet in this series?
Well, I think Jimmy Leland's very confident. What this is more boiled down to is a 1-game series. You're going to see all guns come out tomorrow night. Doug Drabek has always been the type of pitcher who's done exactly what he's needed to do in order for this ball club to win. He hasn't done it in game 1 and 4. I expect him to pitch extremely well tomorrow night. My greatest surprise of this whole series would be if Drabek and Smoltz don't take the game deep 6 or 7, 8 innings tomorrow night.
Pirates trying to become the first National League team ever to overcome a 3-1 deficit in league championship play. For Ray Knight, I'm Mark Schwartz. Now back to Sports Center.
Later in the program, we'll have an intimate profile of Braves outfielder David Justice. But right now, we present Game 7 of the 1992 NLCS between the Braves and the Pirates on ESPN Classic.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Atlanta for the 7th and deciding game of the National League Championship Series between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Atlanta Braves. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough along with Tim McCarver, and it's great to have you with us as the Pittsburgh Pirates try to become just the 8th team in Major League history to come from 3 games to 1 down and win a postseason series. And by forcing a Game 7, they have another chance for Doug Drabek as he goes head-to-head with John Smoltz for the 3rd time in this series.
John Smoltz has already beaten Drabek twice in this series, and if he wins again tonight versus Drabek, it will be the first time in postseason history that one pitcher will have beaten the same mound opponent in the same series 3 times. But if he does, it will be bucking a trend for Atlanta pitchers, the starting pitchers. Steve Avery went only a third of an inning on Sunday night, and Tommy Glavine only 1 last night. I think this is going to be a well-pitched ball game.
The lineup for the Pittsburgh Pirates and Jim Leland tonight. Alex Cole leads off in right field. Jay Bell to shortstop. Andy Van Slyke in center field. The cleanup hitter, left fielder Barry Bonds. Orlando Merced at first base. Jeff King batting 6th at third base. Mike LaValliere, the catcher. Jose Lean, the second baseman. And the pitcher, Doug Drabek, bats 9th. Those are the batting averages for the Pirates in this league championship series.
Defense for the Braves. Gann in left, Otis Nixon in center, and David Justice in right. Pendleton, Blauser, Lemke, Bream on the infield, and Berryhill behind the plate.
First pitch of Game 7, a fastball inside from John Smoltz to Alex Cole. And another fastball, this one high. 2-0 on Cole, who has appeared in 2 games in this series. The 2 games started by John Smoltz, 1 and 4. He's 2 for 8. Borderline strike. Another fastball. Nothing but heat to this point from Smoltz to Cole.
The one thing that Bobby Cox, the manager of the Braves, said about John Smoltz was that he had to throw strikes early in the count. To Alex Cole, he hasn't done that. He walked 80 this year in 246 innings.
And he walks Cole to start the ball game. Alex did not swing at a pitch, and he walked on 5 pitches.
Good news and bad news so far for Smoltz. He's throwing hard, but he's been wild.
The lead man on for the Pirates in the first. The batter is Jay Bell. Look for a bunt in this situation with Bell. Jim Leland has employed the bunt frequently throughout the years with Jay Bell, even in the first inning.
He had 9 this year in the first inning.
He pops that one up. Barry Hill makes the running catch.
The barrel of the bat is below the ball, and that's why he popped it up. Barry Hill makes a nice play. A catcher's first responsibility, fair territory. That's why he went out and then back to make a nice play.
1 out. We're in the top of the first. Andy Van Slyke digs in. Andy is 6 for 25. He's had at least 1 hit in every game in this series except game 2, the 13-5 Atlanta victory. Breaking ball for a strike. Bobby Cox. He was the manager of the Toronto Blue Jays in 1985 when they squandered a 3-1 lead in the LCS against the Kansas City Royals. Only 2 teams in League Championship Series play have ever blown a 3-1 lead. That's a fair ball. Past the dive of Sid Bream and down into the corner. Fielded by Justice. Cole will be held at third. Van Slyke into second with a double.
Andy Van Slyke is the best low ball hitter on the Pirate team. And watch where the fastball from Smoltz is. Right down in his wheelhouse. Just inside the bag. A diving Bream can't get to it. That ball hopping over his glove. And the Pirates are threatening early.
With second and third and 1 out for Barry Bonds, who hit his first ever postseason home run last night, leading off the second inning to ignite the rally of 8 runs against Tom Glavine. They won't take a chance with Bonds here with first base open. They'll walk him and work to Orlando Merced.
I'm sure Jim Leland is probably thinking the only lineup change that either team has made this year, all of the lineups have been, or during this year's championship series, all of the lineups have been the same. The right-handed hitters facing the left-handed pitching, and a predictable left-handed batting order facing right-handers. But last night he was thinking about it, and he said, I think I'll move Merced to the 5th hole, and it could pay early dividends here in the first inning. Jeff King batting 6th this evening.
Leland wanted another left-handed bat in the lineup right behind Bonds, and that's what he has with Merced. 1 for 7 in the series is Merced. He's 1 for 5 in the 2 games in the series against Smoltz. The infield back at double play depth. The bases loaded with 1 out of the top of the first in game 7 of the National League Championship Series. Breaking ball inside corner, strike 1. Merced badly fooled by that breaking ball, and it's 0-2. Breaking ball in the dirt. Good block by Barry Hill as he shifted to his right. 1-2 on Merced with Alex Cole at third base.
That was a terrific play by Damon Berryhill. Not only does he block it, but he gives John Smoltz confidence when and if he throws another breaking ball. The effective breaking ball is down, and you have to have a catcher who can block the ball to have confidence to throw it with a man on third.
Well hit. Right field. Deep enough to get the run in as Justice makes the catch in front of the track. Cole across with the first run of the ball game, and the Pirates lead 1-0 in the first inning. It's the second RBI in this series for Orlando Merced, and you're looking live at Clark's Bar in Pittsburgh, where Pirate fans are watching tonight.
It's right near the stadium, isn't it? Right down the street from Three Rivers Stadium. The Pirates strike first, a hanging breaking ball to Merced. Second base open. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bonds run early in the count.
And Slike took third on the fly ball to right. Jeff King with a very high fly ball near the bullpen. Gant over and couldn't get it. He overran the ball.
I think he had to negotiate that pitcher's mound. That is the bullpen mound right there. So he went up and down, and by the time he got his equilibrium back, he had overrun the ball, and Ron Gant appeared to hurt his left foot or ankle, but he's okay, limping back to his position.
He went up and down, then almost over and out as he hit the railing by the bullpen. The one-strike pitch to King. Check swing at a breaking ball. King, the sixth batter of the first inning, batting with first and third and 2 outs and 1 run in. Jeff's picked it up over the last 2 games. He's 4 for 9 in games 5 and 6 combined. Bond stole 39 bases during the regular season. He is the only Pirates stolen base in this series. And he's running, and King pops it up. Berryhill and Pendleton. It's Berryhill to end the inning. The Pirates are on the board with 1 run in the top of the first after half an inning. Pittsburgh 1 and Atlanta coming up.
You're watching the 7th and deciding game of the 1992 NLCS between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Atlanta Braves on ESPN Classic.
Another beautiful night in Atlanta. The temperature at game time near 70 degrees, ideal conditions for the sellout crowd to watch Game 7 of the National League Championship Series. The starting lineup for Atlanta tonight: Otis Nixon in center field, Jeff Blauser the shortstop, Terry Pendleton at third, David Justice in right, Sid Bream at first, Ron Gant in left, Damon Berryhill the catcher, Mark Lemke the second baseman, and the pitcher John Smoltz bats ninth against Doug Drabek, who's 0-2 in this series.
The defense for the Pittsburgh Pirates: Barry Bonds in left field, Andy Van Slyke in center, Alex Cole in right, King at third, Bell at short, Leaned at second, and Merced at first, and Mike LaValliere behind the plate.
Drabek's first pitch of the night, a strike to Otis Nixon.
And if you're keeping score at home, write quickly. Shorthand.
Slapped out of play. Drabek quickly ahead. No balls and 2 strikes. The umpires: John McSherry behind the plate, Randy Marsh at first, Steve Ripley at second, Gary Darling at third, Jerry Davis is along the left field line, and Ed Montague calls the plays in right. The 0-2 pitch. Nixon 0 for his last 8 after his record-setting 5 straight hits earlier in the series. Still 1-2. Jeff Blauser waits on deck.
Nixon had 3 straight hits against Doug Drabek in that game 4. Drabek going with a lot of breaking balls, fastballs tonight.
Looked like Doug lost his balance a bit as he delivered that fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nixon had been 2 for 24 lifetime against Drabek prior to this series. But Otis has gone 3 for 6 against Drabek in the NLCS. But a lot of talk about the lack of intensity in the stands here at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium in this series as compared to the postseason last year. But tonight, you sense the electricity is back. Now the 2-2. Chico Lean throws him out. 1 out. We're in the bottom of the first. The Pirates lead 1-0 on a sacrifice fly by Orlando Merced in the top of the first. Like Otis Nixon, Jeff Blauser is slumping. He's 2 for his last 15. Breaking ball missed inside. Drabek has failed to survive the 5th inning in either of his first 2 starts in this series. 1 ball and 1 strike on the Atlanta shortstop. Included in those career numbers for Blauser against Drabek, a home run in game 1 of this year's LCS. King, the diving stop, to his feet to throw him out.
Fine play by Jeff King. Had that ball gotten by him, it is doubtful that Bell would have thrown out Jeff Blauser. Gets to his feet and guns him out. Nice play by King.
Well, with all the attention early in this series and the lack of production from the heart of the Pittsburgh order, very little attention has been paid to the difficulties of Terry Pendleton at the plate. He's hitting just .231. 6 for 26. And he looked at a breaking ball in the dirt.
Pittsburgh Pirates got him out last year, too. For the 14 games that these 2 teams had played in postseason the last 2 years, Terry batting only .196.
One ball and 1 strike on Pendleton. Of course, Terry picked it up in the World Series last year. He had .360 against the Minnesota Twins. He's been bothered by a sore groin, but Bobby Cox says he's been running as well as at any time this season. In the air in right field, not deep. Cole to catch. The Braves go in order in the first after 1 in game 7. 1-0 Pittsburgh.
Through the 1990s, David Justice has been one of baseball's more prolific hitters. He won the National League Rookie of the Year in 1990 and twice finished in the top 5 of the MVP voting. Justice played on 5 pennant winners, winning it all in 1995 with the Braves and again in 2000 with the New York Yankees. Here's an intimate profile of Justice at home in Cincinnati from the ESPN program, The Life.
Got drafted in '85. I go to Pulaski, Virginia, and I lived with 3 guys in a 2-bedroom trailer home. I slept on the couch, getting paid $700 a month. You couldn't tell me I wasn't making no money there. Next year in '86, I went to low A ball in Sumter, South Carolina, and we actually had a mall. So just to me, that was huge. We had a mall. '89, I went to the big leagues for the first time. Lonnie Smith hurt his ankle or something. I went to the big leagues, and I remember going to the big leagues thinking, oh my God. I was like a fan. It was like they gave a fan a uniform and told him, go ahead, you can sit on the bench with the guys. Oh, you know what we gotta do today? Go to Starbucks. A skim venti white chocolate mocha. That's the drink of champions. Starbucks, send me a check. Hey, this is the best car wash in town right here, Austin Brothers. ESPN is with me today. I told him I'm gonna take him to the best car wash in the land. I just want to know, how will things ever change? People were getting treated unfairly 5 years ago, 10 years ago. That ain't gonna never change. You know what, it's like this, man. I love the Braves. So when John Sherholz looked me in my face and told me, I bet my house and my family that you won't be traded. That's good enough confidence for me coming from general manager. 1 week later, gone. But my thing is be a man about it. If you think you might trade me, then just say, hey, I'm thinking about trading you. I can handle it. But don't look me in my eyes and say, I bet my family and my house.
Did you ever go to claim his house and his family?
No, I don't want his family or his house. This is David Jr., but they call him JR. I just can't wait to see him grow up. I never wanted to have kids and then feel the pressure of not being able to take care of them. When he's like 15, I want to be able to be active to the point where I can teach him stuff. You know, I want to be an old man. I'm not with his mother, so this season what I'll do is have him come to New York. 1 homestand out of every month. But, you know, by the time he gets, what, 3 or 4 years old, I'll probably be retired then. And then I can really, you know, get a whole bunch of time to see him, you know, every day or whatever.
While Justice was popular on the field, he was probably better known off the field for his 1993 marriage to actress Halle Berry. The couple later divorced in 1997. We now return to the 1992 NLCS between the Braves and the Pirates here on ESPN Classic.
Sean McDonough with Tim McCarver and Jim Gray back at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. The Pirates lead 1-0 after 1 inning in Game 7 of the National League Championship Series. The Bucks with the bottom third of their order coming up against John Smoltz. The catcher Mike LaValliere leads off. His only appearances in this series in Games 1 and 4. The game started by John Smoltz. We speculated last night that Jim Leland might have some of his right-handed hitting platoon players in the lineup tonight because they've been so successful in this series. But Jim Leland says we're not going to mess with the formula that worked for 168 games. And he also noted correctly that the 3 highest averages for their careers against John Smoltz have come from Cole, Merced, and LaValliere.
And the difference between the left-handers and the right-handers, and we'll have the numbers for you. The left-handers, to whom Sean was referring, they're 4 for 21, and the right-handed batters batting .487 against left-handers. And they're the left-handed trio versus Smoltz.
That's why they're in there. Those are the 3 highest batting averages on the Pittsburgh team lifetime against Smoltz. LaValliere strikes out. 1 out of the second. That's the first strikeout of the night for Smoltz. Jose leaned 1 for his last 11. And Smoltz has been smoking them as he did during the regular season when he led the National League in strikeouts with 215. The first Brave to lead the league in strikeouts since Phil Niekro back in 1977. Pendleton is playing even with the bag, and he throws leaned out. 2 down in the second. The Pirates lead 1-0.
John Smoltz starting his 7th postseason game, and this is his 3rd consecutive decisive game. He worked Game 7 in the LCS last year, Game 7 in the World Series, and now Game 7 this year. Only one other pitcher in Major League history has worked 3 decisive games. Bob Gibson in the World Series in 1964, 7 and 8.
Drabek with a high fly ball along the right field line for Justice. The Pirates go in order in the second. After an inning and a half, 1-0 Pittsburgh. We have reason to believe that home plate umpire John McSherry is not feeling well. During the break between innings, he took a seat adjacent to the boxes where National League President Bill White is located. A couple of his fellow umpires came in from the field to check on McSherry, and now they're all, those in the infield at least, conferring with John McSherry at home plate. He does not seem to be feeling well.
I think the other umpires may be asking John if he needs relief behind the plate. Obviously, the home plate umpire, the most important umpire of the 6. Maybe right field or left field, they are possibly talking to him about that. I can't remember a league championship series or a World Series where an umpire left and there was no one to replace him. A couple of years ago, Bruce Fleming replaced an umpire in the 1990 World Series.
I think he's going to give up at least the home plate umpiring responsibilities because he has sent Randy Marsh off the field, and he'll probably return wearing the home plate umpire's equipment.
Right.
Let's check in with Jim Gray.
Okay, Sean, we don't know exactly what's wrong with him. However, he did come over to Bill White. He is sweating profusely and told him he didn't feel well. He felt a little bit faint, and you could see that he's just very, very pale and peaked right now. Bill White, we asked him exactly what was wrong. He didn't want to comment about it. He's now being in contact with Dave Pursley, the Braves trainer, as he is not well right now and is feeling faint. Sean?
Thank you, Jim. You can imagine that for the umpires, this is as exciting an experience as it is for the participants, and this has to be personally greatly disappointing to John McSherry as he heads off.
Ed Montague, the home plate umpire last night, talking about severe butterflies before the game.
We'll return in just a moment. Pittsburgh leads 1-0 after an inning and a half, and the game is being delayed with the Braves about to come up in the bottom of the second inning due to the departure of home plate umpire John McSherry, who obviously was not feeling well. And we believe that Randy Marsh, who was working first base at the start of the ball game, will take over the home plate umpiring chores. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, this is their 3rd straight chance to get to the World Series. In 1990, they lost to Cincinnati in 6 games in the League Championship Series. Last year, they lost the final 2 games at home and lost the series to Atlanta in 7. Before the game tonight, I had a long conversation with Jim Leyland. We talked about his experiences in the playoffs and his feelings about wearing the black and gold of the Pittsburgh Pirates in the City of Champions. Well into the answer, you could tell that he was deeply philosophical and emotional about what tonight's game meant for him personally.
Now it's unbelievable, just like it was when the Penguins won last year. It's something that binds this country together, and that's certainly something that we need coming election time. Kind of join hands and pull for one another and fight one another, so to speak, debate one another, whatever it is, who's the best. It's all kind of apropos. And I'm proud to be a Pittsburgh Pirate. That's why I signed a long-term extension. And I've said several times, they'll probably want to get rid of me before I want to leave there.
It was indeed a very emotional Jim Leyland before this 7th and deciding game tonight. But he went on to say something I think is particularly important. He said, I don't think I should be judged along the same lines of a Tommy Lasorda or a Whitey Herzog or a Tony La Russa, who have won world championships, until I win one. But I won't think that I'm any less of a manager if we do not win this playoff series tonight. After all, we've won more than 90 games the last 3 years, and there are certain things you cannot control. He said, I'll believe that I'm every bit as good a manager as I think I am, regardless of the outcome tonight. And that's the right attitude for him to have.
Those colors, interestingly, the same colors that Jim Leyland had in high school at Perrysburg, Ohio, when Jerry Glanville, who is now the coach of the Atlanta Falcons, was a senior and Jim Leyland a freshman. Those are the same colors he wore in high school, so I guess he got attached to them at a very early age.
And with the same letter and insignia almost on the cap and jacket that he's been wearing much of his life. Tim, is this delay at all deflating for the players? Does it take away from some of that emotional edge that obviously everybody on each side had coming into this Game 7?
I don't think I don't think it detracts from the players' emotion. However, that guy right there, John Smoltz, could be affected, and so could Doug Drabek. the pitchers are the ones most affected by the delays. The regular players, there's no effect whatsoever.
Again, if you're just tuning in, we have a delay due to the illness of umpire John McSherry, the home plate umpire. He has left the game, and we believe that when Doug Drabeck takes the mound, Randy Marsh will be the home plate umpire. National League President Bill White now in the Atlanta dugout explaining the situation to Bobby Cox. And we'll return to Atlanta in just a moment.
The Pirates seem to have the foundation to be one of the dominant teams in baseball during the 90s. The Bucks began the decade by winning 3 straight National League East pennants. But Pittsburgh became a team ravaged by free agency. Bobby Bonilla signed with the Mets in 1992. A year later, Barry Bonds went to the Giants, while Doug Drabeck was off to the Houston Astros. With more on Drabeck's departure, here's Charlie Steiner with a Vintage SportsCenter report from 1993.
The Astros get a workhorse in Drabeck. He was the Cy Young Award winner in the National League in 1990, the year he went 22-6 with an ERA of 2.76. And if the Astros can get the production out of Drabeck that he's provided over the past 4 seasons, over the next 4 seasons, the $23 million will be well spent. His 66 wins since 1989, second best in the National League, 4th most in all of baseball, and his ERA, his innings pitched, and his control, also among the best in the game. And his 34 starts this season, precisely the average number of starts for Drabeck over the past 5 years. Doug Drabeck is of sound mind and sound arm.
I'm excited about coming here because I can see that they are committed to going forward and trying to turn things around.
The Astros, under the new ownership of Drayton McClain, not afraid to spend some money. Under the old management, the Astros were among the most frugal teams in baseball. That is changing. Meanwhile, in these days of belt tightening in Pittsburgh, more than a third of the team that was in uniform in the October playoffs is gone, and so is nearly $11 million from the payroll. That doesn't even include Barry Bonds and his $5+ million price tag.
Prior to the Pirates, what was the last club to three-peat as National League East champions? The Phillies from 1976 through 78. And like Pittsburgh, the Phils also failed to reach the World Series in each of those seasons. Now let's head back to Game 7 of the 1992 NLCS right here on ESPN Classic.
Welcome back to Game 7 of the National League Championship Series. The Pittsburgh Pirates are back in the field, getting ready for the bottom of the second. The Pirates lead 1-0 on a sacrifice fly in the first inning by Orlando Merced that scored Alex Cole. And Randy Marsh has indeed taken over as the home plate umpire. John McSherry has not come back on the field, and this game will resume with 5 umpires. How they decide which line the one remaining outfield umpire works remains to be seen, or perhaps they'll put him in the middle.
Each of these teams have played 168 games for the chance of going to the World Series. And I asked Bobby Cox before the game if he slept well last night. He said, He and his wife Pam have a cabin about 50 miles south of Chattanooga, Tennessee. That's where he spent his off night 2 nights ago. And then last night with a loss, he said he didn't sleep well at all. He was at the ballpark today at 12:30.
So Doug Drabeck, after the delay, is ready to go. Facing the middle third of the order after a 1-2-3 first inning, David Justice leads off and takes a breaking ball for strike 1. The first call of the night for Randy Marsh behind the plate.
Sean, you ask an interesting question while we were away. How do you determine where the odd umpire goes? Where does he go? To the left field line or the right field line? David Justice, a left-handed hitter. There's no umpire down the right field line. I meant odd as far as count. I wasn't talking about it from a people
from a personality standpoint.
Right.
Well, one outfield umpire is in left field, even with the left-handed hitting Justice at the plate. And that's why, because the ball goes in that direction. These fellows know what they're doing.
David Justice certainly did.
Officially, the game delayed by 11 minutes. due to the illness of John McSherry, and we'll work to get you a report on his health. Ed Montague, who was to be the right field line umpire, has moved in to take over first base. Randy Marsh from first base behind the plate. And everybody else in his original position among the umpiring crews. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Justice. Doug Drabeck is 30 years old, from Victoria, Texas, a free agent at the end of the season. Unlike Barry Bonds, he has not spoken very often about his contractual status during the year. But he told us at mid-season that all things being relatively equal financially, he would prefer to stay with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Everybody talks about how free agents always seek the bigger markets. There is a degree of comfort in the smaller markets. The expectations aren't as great. Maybe that's what Doug Drabeck was thinking when he made that remark. Because when you sign as a free agent in a big market, the expectations are great. A lot more fans at the games, a lot more television exposure, and a lot more pressure, as indicated by many, many examples over the years. The most recent, I guess, Bobby Bonilla in the New York Mets.
Drabeck battling Justice, who has fouled off a couple of 2-2 pitches. And that's bounced foul toward the Atlanta dugout. Two homers in his individual dealings with Doug Drabeck over the years for David Justice. He hit a home run in each of his last 2 times up last night off the knuckleballer Tim Wakefield. Tried to check his swing but could not. And the lengthy battle ends with Drabeck on top. It's his first strikeout of the night. Sid Bream strides to the plate. After a quick start in this series, he has cooled off a bit of late. Slowly to second to Chico Lean. 2 down in the second. Drabeck has retired the first 5 Atlanta hitters tonight.
So far, Doug Drabeck has not gotten into a pattern of beginning hitters with the same pitch. He'll go from the curveball to the slider. He likes to pitch left-handers away with the fastball. He'll come in occasionally bad, but tonight he looks like he's mixing up his pitches a lot better than he has in his previous 2 starts.
Ron Gant facing Doug Drabeck. The Pirates lead 1-0 in the bottom of the second. Gant with a swing and a miss for strike 1 as he tries to end an 0-for-9 drought.
I do not think Ron Gant will see anything from the middle of the plate in. He is a devastating inside pull hitter. So look for Drabeck to pitch him away. If he comes in, it's by mistake.
Big swing and a miss. Gant in the hole, 0-2.
You can see Ron Gant with that left foot pointed toward third base. That's another reason you don't want to come in.
Blown away. Drabeck and Gant from the same hometown, Victoria, Texas.
The 1-2 pitch. Line to center, on the run, Van Slyke dives and makes a great catch. That's the defensive play of the series to date. Andy Van Slyke diving to take a hit away from Ron Gant. We'll return to Atlanta Fulton County Stadium after this word from your local station.
You're watching the 7th and deciding game of the 1992 NLCS between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Atlanta Braves on ESPN Classic.
This series is the highest scoring NLCS ever. These two teams have combined to score 65 runs through the first 6 games plus this one. And Game 7 has settled into a pitcher's duel. John Smoltz battling Doug Drabek, and Smoltz on the short end of a 1-0 score as we go to the 6th inning. And the pitch count particularly a factor for Smoltz because of the length of his outings in games 1 and 4. He's thrown a lot more pitches than Doug Drabek in this series. Jay Bell foul-tipped one in the mitt of Damon Berryhill for strike 1. Jay's 0 for 2 tonight.
Smoltz has just been terrific in the 7th game alone. Last year shutting out Pittsburgh 4-0 in Game 7. He worked Game 7 of the World Series working shutout baseball over 7 1/3. And now only 1 run through the first 5. So in his last 21 1/3 innings, for just Game 7 alone, he's given up 1 run.
He's retired 14 of the last 15 Pirates. Still 0-2 on Bell. Van Slyke and Bonds to follow. We mentioned at the outset, only 7 teams in Major League Baseball history have come back from 3 games to 1 down to win a postseason series. And the Pittsburgh Pirates have done it twice in their history. Bell rips one into the left field corner. Gant will play it off the wall as Jay Bell pulls into second with a double. So these two teams have combined for 4 hits in the game, and all 4 of them are doubles.
A lot of times you may hear that if a guy hits a pitch, it was a mistake. Well, guys hit good pitches too, but that was a mistake, a high breaking ball. And in my opinion, that was the first mistake thrown by either pitcher tonight. Right there, right in the sweet part, you can see Smoltz turning to the left. And the bad thing about that hit, it not only leads off the inning, but Van Slyke, Bonds, Merced, 3 left-handers coming up.
The lead man at second in the 6th inning. The Pirates trying to add to a 1-0 lead. Andy Van Slyke swung at a ball in the dirt. Bell thought about third, but thought better of it. Steve Avery, who was the starter in Game 5, warming up in the bullpen. He is the left-hander, and Pete Smith, the right-hander. Bobby Cox told us before the ball game that he would not hesitate to use Steve Avery. This is a game, obviously, that his team has to win. He'll do whatever it takes. Van Slyke is doubled and flied to right. Breaking ball missed low. 1 ball and 1 strike. The double by Jay Bell, the 28th double in this series that ties a league championship series record for the 2 teams combined. Toronto and Kansas City had 28 doubles collectively in 1985.
Tommy Glavine, the only Braves pitcher unavailable. Tim Wakefield, the only Pittsburgh pitcher unavailable.
Up the middle, Lemke can't get it. Bell being waved around, and he will score, and the Pirates lead 2-0. Andy Van Slyke drives in his 4th run of the series, and they erupt at the Clark Bar and Grill adjacent to Three Rivers Stadium.
They're up because the Pirates are up. Andy, .324 batter during the year, second to Gary Sheffield of the San Diego Padres. And the Pirates with a chance here, bunching a double by Bell, and now a single by Van Slyke. Looked like a splitter that stayed up in the strike zone.
And it's taken 6 innings, but we have our first single of Game 7. Barry Bonds takes a fastball on the inside corner of the knees. He didn't think so, and turned to express that opinion to home plate umpire Randy Marsh. Bonds was intentionally walked in the first inning to load the bases. They pitched to Merced, who delivered a sacrifice fly that drove in the first run of the game. The second run of the game is scored here in the 6th. The double by Bell, a single by Van Slyke. They don't generally like to run Andy Van Slyke, because that can frequently take the bat out of the hands of Barry Bonds.
Andy with 12 stolen bases on the year. The Pirates as a team with only 1 stolen base in this series. As much as that, I think Barry Bonds is the one guy that you keep things quiet. You don't send the runners. You let him hit.
1 ball and 2 strikes. The 2 faces of Barry Bonds in this series. Games 1 through 4, he was 1 for 11 without an RBI. Over the last 3 ball games, he's 4 for 10 and has knocked in 2. He hit the home run last night, starting the 2nd inning off Tom Glavine. They've got the Bucks off and running to their 8-run 2nd inning. The pop-up. Pendleton takes command. 1 out. Really, that was an appropriate label for the graphic of Barry Bonds that you saw, because he admits that he is a very moody person. One day very happy, the next day a little bit on the surly side. Certainly members of the media can vouch for that, but he had his coming out party in Game 5, and it's not coincidental that that's when the series started to turn around for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Orlando Merced took a fastball for ball 1. He drove in the first run in the first inning with a sacrifice fly. He bounced out to the second baseman in the 4th. Van Slyke at first with 1 out. We're in the 6th. Pittsburgh 2, Atlanta nothing. Rich Donnelly is the Pittsburgh third base coach.
Jim Leland wants to play aggressive baseball. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see Van Slyke running here, hit and run.
In the air, in shallow right center, Justice the catch.
That was Jim Leland's plans, to be aggressive on the bases before this season before this series started. But Atlanta winning the first 3 out of 4 games, and Atlanta has not been ahead over the last 3 games. Not only have they lost 2 in a row, they haven't even been ahead. So there have been opportunities for Leland to send the runner the last 3 ball games.
Jeff King waits as Smoltz throws to first. A ball high. 1-0 on King, who is 0 for 2 tonight. Van Slyke, the runner at first, with 2 outs. 6th inning, 2-0 Pittsburgh. Pulled foul. King had a lot of room to shoot for down that line, as Pendleton is playing him way off the line.
Very few hitters. There are very few hitters who don't use the fat part of the field which to hit. Usually if the balls are hit down the line, it's the pitcher and catcher's fault. Pitcher hangs a pitch.
The 1-1 breaking ball, low and away, 2 balls and 1 strike.
There are certainly times in the late innings when you want to protect against a double, but this isn't one of them, and that's why Terry Pendleton is playing way off the line. Especially the way Smoltz is throwing. The chances of King getting around and hammering a ball down there remote.
Looks like John Smoltz trying to muscle that one up to the plate and missed, and now it's 3-1. And strike on the run. King lifts it. And in left center, Gant has room. The Pirates score again with 1 run in the 6th. The Braves come up in the bottom of the 6th, trailing 2-0. Alex Cole led off this game with a walk against John Smoltz. Andy Van Slyke doubled him the 3rd. Orlando Merced a sacrifice fly to bring him in. The only other run in this game in the Pittsburgh 6th inning. Jay Bell doubled and Andy Van Slyke singled him in. And Doug Drabek has been the story of the night for Pittsburgh.
Still action on his pitches, and I think he will go out there in the 8th inning. I don't think Jim Leyland. As a matter of fact, the Pittsburgh bullpen is quiet right now.
Barry Bonds leads off against Steve Avery with a base hit. He took a 1-0 pitch into right field for his first hit of the night. He's 1 for 3. And for the 3rd straight inning, the Pirates have the lead man on.
I think it's safe to say the bond market is up after being severely depressed.
New second baseman in the ball game is Rafael Belliard. That move made necessary by Smith batting for the lefty. Rafael Belliard played in only 1 game this season at second base.
Tom Glavine working all a 1+ inning last night. The Pirates scoring 8 runs in the top half of the 2nd inning. That was before the relief corps could get anybody out.
Just as Doug Drabek was desperately seeking an opportunity to come back in this series in a Game 7, Tom Glavine expressed the same sentiment before the game tonight in the clubhouse. He was desperately hoping that the Braves would make it to the World Series so he'd have a chance to atone for that performance last night. And as Jim Gray told you at the outset, John Smoltz said he was pitching tonight with the failures of Avery and Glavine in the last 2 games in mind. He didn't want them to have an awful winter, thinking back about how they did not deliver in games 5 and 6. Orlando Merced at the plate. And as they inch closer to victory in Pittsburgh, some have taken to praying. Of course, when the camera comes on, they all take to cheering and screaming. Bonds at first, with nobody out, and still owns the only Pittsburgh stolen base in this series. Avery has difficulty holding runners on. Merced chops one to short. Blauser shuffles to Belliard. They cut down the lead runner. One out in the 8th inning. 2-0 Pittsburgh. This is Game 7 of the National League Championship Series.
That was a terrific play by Jeff Blauser. A lot of shortstops would take the safe out and go to first base. Blauser was actually in front of the bag. He had to turn and give a little shovel pass back to Belliard. A lot of shortstops would go to first base, but had he done so, then Bonds a real threat to steal 3rd with 1 out.
With the situation the Braves are in, they need to do everything they can to keep additional runners out of scoring position for Pittsburgh.
Right.
Jeff King, 0 for 3 tonight. Avery misses low. Slap down the right field line. It is a fair ball right along the line. The runner is being waved around third. Merced to the plate, and he is out at home.
Ball hit hard down the right field line. That is just fair. So many shots down either line that have been so close throughout this series. And now the strong arm of David Justice nails Merced at home plate. The slap tag with a glove. And the reason that Rich Donnelly sent Merced was because of the guy who's up at bat right now, Mike LaValliere.
Left-handed hitting LaValliere against the lefty Avery. Merced cut down at the plate. At least for the moment, the Braves have dodged another bullet. They got out of a bases-loaded jam last inning. LaValliere was the first man to face Mike Stanton last inning and singled against the left-hander. He's facing Avery for the first time tonight. A ball and a strike.
It would be too much to ask Mike LaValliere to get 2 for 2 off of guys like Stanton and Avery. So I think Pittsburgh would have been put in a squeeze situation. It would have been very difficult to score Merced from third base with 1 out, and that's why I think Donnelly sent him. What did Jim Leland tell us before the game when he coached third base for Tony La Russa in 1983? He had no stop sign.
He was known as the man with no stop sign. Good breaking ball from Avery, 1 and 2. And wouldn't you know, the close play along the line in the outfield would be where there is no umpire. Because of the illness of John McSherry, the umpires working this ball game with only 5 members of the crew and no umpire along the right field line. But Ed Montague made the right call. It was a fair ball. Now the 1-2 pitch. Softly toward left. Gant makes the running catch. The Braves come up in the 8th, still trailing by only 2-0.
For more information on our classic games, trivia, upcoming specials, and the ESPN Classic program schedule, go to ESPN.com, keyword classic. Who are the best owners in sports today? Well, here's what the Page 2 staff at ESPN.com thinks. Pat Bowlen of the Denver Broncos is number 1 on the list. George Steinbrenner of the New York Yankees is second. 3 NBA owners, Pat Croce, Paul Allen, who also owns the Seattle Seahawks, and Jerry Buss round out the top 5. The Braves' Ted Turner was 9th. For more on this and other fun-filled lists, check out ESPN.com, Page 2. In 1992, 2 future Hall of Famers gained entry into the 3,000 hit club. George Brett and Robin Yount became the 17th and 18th members of that elite group. Also that year, Boston's Matt Young became only the 3rd pitcher to lose a complete game no-hitter, dropping a decision to the Cleveland Indians. The Phillies' Mickey Morandini pulled off the 9th unassisted triple play of all time and the first in the National League since 1927 when he turned the trick against the Pirates. We now continue with Game 7 of the 1992 National League Championship Series on ESPN Classic.
There have been some blowouts in this series, but not tonight. Pittsburgh leads 2-0. As we go to the bottom of the 8th inning with Doug Drabek working on a 5-hit shutout, he will face Deion Sanders as a pinch hitter to start the 8th. And then Otis Nixon and Jeff Blauser are due. And we talked with Jim Leland about the prospect of maybe pulling Tim Wakefield out early last night to have him ready for tonight. He said, why would I want to do that when I have Doug Drabek ready to go? Right. Deion Sanders. Wouldn't it be ironic if, given all of the controversy surrounding Deion in this series, he did something to ignite a rally? He has been a bit part in this series. He's 0 for 4. Little chopper down the line, it'll bounce foul. Steve Avery has held off the Pirates in this just his second major league relief appearance.
Atlanta one game away from World Championship last year. And I think they, as a group, had the feeling that anything short of a World Championship this year would be a failure.
Sharply hit, but foul past the first base bag. Most of them admitted that when the series began.
Yep. I think by taking that type of mindset, you add the have to factor. You feel like you have to, as opposed to we will, you say we have to. Big difference.
Sanders in the 0-2 hole. Check swing at a ball just low. They field down to third. No swing, says Gary Darling. Now the 1-2 pitch. Well hit, but well fouled and right. Wanted home run distance and then some, but it was well to the right of the pole.
You think about a guy like Bobby Cox. You mentioned earlier, Sean, that he was the manager of the Toronto Blue Jays in 1985. Kansas City came back after going up 3-1. Kansas City came back to win 3 in a row. And Bobby would be the only manager to have his teams lose after being up 3-1 in postseason play. Once in the American League and once in the National League.
2-2 pitch. Struck him out. Blew him away with the fastball. Fourth strikeout of the night for Doug Drabek.
I'll tell you, the bullpen is back up for Pittsburgh, but I don't think you can get Drabek out of there unless Atlanta takes the lead. The bullpen has been up for 3 innings, and with that fastball, I think that is the thing that Ray Miller and Jim Leland are looking for. Forget the pitch count. Is there action late? And you could tell by that fastball there was.
Otis Nixon takes a strike. He's 1 for 3. He was trying to sacrifice in the 6th inning with runners at first and second and nobody out, and wound up with a bonus bunt hit. When he bunted the ball off the plate, it chopped high in the air and he beat it out. Nearly hit him. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jeff Blauser followed the bunt single by Nixon in the 6th. The line drive to third to Jeff King, who stepped on third base to double up Mark Lemke when the best chance of the night for the Braves went by the boards. Up and in, 2 balls and a strike.
Like the fastball just bending Nixon back. No intent there. Drabek just trying to throw strikes.
Bonds on the run into the bullpen area to make the catch. Two away in the 8th inning. The Braves have 4 more outs to make something happen. Jeff Blauser. He hit the line drive down to third that resulted in the double play in the 6th inning. He's 0 for 3 tonight and 2 for his last 18.
Normally it would not be a good play to bunt with 2 out and nobody on, but since the Braves are trailing by 2, it wouldn't be a bad play. Blauser, an excellent bunter, and King is even with the bag at third base.
One strike on Blauser. Just missed the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Drabek has thrown 119 pitches. He's scheduled to bat second in the top of the ninth behind Jose Lean. Lloyd McClendon will bat third. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Two and two. Blauser keeps the inning alive. Terry Pendleton would bat next. Struck him out. Another live fastball from Drabek, who works a 1-2 3/8 inning while striking out 2. He spanned 5, and we go to the 9th. The Pirates 2 and the Braves nothing. Earlier today, the Toronto Blue Jays earned their first trip to the World Series. The Pittsburgh Pirates, like the Blue Jays, been fighting the reputation the last few years of not being able to get to the big one. They're 1 inning away, perhaps, as they lead 2-0 into the 9th here at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. A mural from downtown Pittsburgh, symbolizing the city of champions. And the full house at the Clark Bar and Grill in Pittsburgh. Realizing now that Atlanta has 3 outs to prevent their team from going to the World Series. Lean trying to pad the lead at the wall. Yanked the catch. And Jeff Reardon greeted with a long fly to left by Lean. And Doug Drabek will come up to bat with 1 out in the top of the 9th.
Sometimes whoever's up in the bullpen will tell you who is coming into the game. Drabek hitting right now is telling you who's staying into the game. I think Jim Leland is going to go with Drabek from here on out. It's up to him to win it or lose it.
And that's what he's done throughout the series in the games that he has won. He's received good starting pitching performances from Walk and Wakefield. The 2 by Wakefield complete games. Walks a complete game in Game 5, and now Drabek will try to finish here in Game 7.
The last team with 4 complete game wins in a postseason series, the 1968 Detroit Tigers.
3 by Mickey Lolich that year and 1 by Denny McClain.
I was on the other end of that, and I'll tell you, I've never forgotten it, and I'll take it to the grave.
And undoubtedly, Bobby Cox has never forgotten 1985. 1-2 the count on Drabek, facing baseball's all-time save leader, Jeff Reardon. Remains to be seen if he'll be back as a Brave next year. His contract expires at the end of this season. Drabek chased the pitch way out of the strike zone. The World Series begins Saturday from either Pittsburgh or Atlanta, as the Braves or Pirates will play host to the Toronto Blue Jays. You can join us for Baseball 92 Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by Game 1 Saturday night on CBS Sports. Jim Leland watched as his good friend Tony La Russa and the Oakland Athletics went down to defeat this afternoon. McClendon came up as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning, was intentionally walked. In the bottom of the 9th, the Braves have the meat of their order coming up. Pendleton, Justice, and Bream, batters 3, 4, and 5. It's 2-0 Pittsburgh. Three balls, no strikes. And that's ball 4. Reardon walks him on 4 pitches. So a 2-out base runner as the Pirates look for an insurance run in the 9th against Reardon, the oldest man participating in this series at age 37. Berryhill out to the mound. Reardon to first and McClendon back. Jay Bell at the plate is 1 for 3. He doubled and scored one of the 2 runs in this game in the 6th inning.
Jeff Reardon, the all-time saves leader, wants a hold in this game.
He became Major League Baseball's all-time save leader earlier this season while he was still a member of the Boston Red Sox. He got Wally Fingers for the save in the game against the Yankees. That's back to the backstop, and now the runner is in scoring position. On a wild pitch, charged to Reardon.
It looked like Lloyd McClendon pulled his left hamstring. That will often happen when a player comes into a game late because they really haven't had a chance to loosen up. You loosen up before the game, and then you sit for about an hour and a half, and now you have to make a quick move like that. And it looked like the left hamstring of Lloyd McClendon is pulled, the upper left hamstring. And remember, if the Pirates do get into the World Series, they can make a roster change after the National League Championship Series is over. Atlanta obviously can do the same thing.
Now that would be a blow given the way McClendon has been swinging the bat. Cecil Espy, a speedier runner, is the pinch runner. He will likely remain in the ball game in right field when the Braves bat in the bottom of the 9th. Some chin music for Bell. 2 balls and a strike.
However, the only left-handed starter that Cito Gaston and the Toronto Blue Jays could be thinking about would be Jimmy Key.
Bell down to third. Pendleton stayed down with it, and that ends the inning. Last call for the Atlanta Braves. Pendleton, Justice, and Bream coming up. We go to the bottom of the 9th in Game 7 of the National League Championship Series. Pittsburgh leads 2-0.
Braves on ESPN Classic.
Welcome back for the bottom of the 9th inning of Game 7 of the National League Championship Series. The Pittsburgh Pirates trying to become the first National League team to come from 3 games to 1 behind to win the NLCS. There have been 3 previous 7th games in National League Championship Series play. And in all 3 of them, a pitcher has thrown a complete game shutout. Danny Cox for St. Louis in 1987, Orel Hershiser for Los Angeles at 88, John Smoltz for the Braves last year against Pittsburgh. And Drabek is trying to make it a perfect 4 for 4 as he begins the 9th with a strike to Terry Pendleton, who is 0 for 3 tonight.
The Braves, on the other hand, have the meat of the order up to try to score at least 2 off of Doug Drabek.
Pendleton, Justice, and Bream will bat in the 9th inning. It's been a disappointing championship series for Pendleton. He's now 6 for 29. Drabek has retired 5 in a row, including 2 strikeouts last inning. He's had pinpoint control throughout. He's only walked 1, and that was after a battle with Gant on a 3-2 pitch in the 7th. Pendleton pulls it down the right field line, hooking toward the corner. It is a fair ball. Pendleton on his way to second with a leadoff double.
We've talked about how many close calls there have been on the line. This is another one. Cecil Espy holds Pendleton to a double. But now the potential tying run will be up for Atlanta.
That was the headline in today's Atlanta newspaper. And it is indeed now or never for the Braves. They have their cleanup hitter at the plate representing the tying run, David Justice. There is double-barreled action in the Pirate bullpen. Strike on the outside corner to Justice, who is 0 for 3. Belinda, Stan Belinda, the right-hander. Bob Patterson, the lefty. Justice at the plate, Bream on deck. Rounded to the right, booted by Lee. Pendleton to third on the play.
A man who has made only 6 errors during the regular season makes his second here tonight, and it could turn out to be the biggest error of his life.
Ted Turner with a high five from President Jimmy Carter. Ray Miller, the pitching coach, on his way to the mound. Drabek up to 125 pitches in this, his third outing in 8 days.
When Ray Miller comes out, he rarely makes a move for Jim Leland. Only Leland will remove the pitcher. Drabek is still throwing well. You can see that late action, even though the ball was hit hard by Pendleton and hard by Justice, but it was booted by Lean, and here it is again. He normally sucks those balls up. One of the finest fielding second basemen in the game.
So now the tying run is at first with nobody out in the bottom of the 9th inning. The potential winning run is at the plate. Sid Bream, the ex-Pirate. Breaking ball in the dirt, blocked by LaValliere with the runner at third. The Braves have had chances in the late innings. They loaded the bases with nobody out in the 6th inning and did not score. They had first and second with 1 out in the 7th and failed to score. Now they have first and third with nobody out in the bottom of the 9th, trailing 2-0. Bream at the plate with Ron Gant on deck. The bullpen has been a weakness of the Pittsburgh Pirates this season, and in this series we've seen Jim Leland be very reluctant to go to the bullpen. The starting pitchers are the strength of his staff, and that has continued to be true in this series. Drabek trying to gut it out in the 9th. Just missed outside. 3 balls and no strikes on Sid Bream. Pendleton, the runner at third. He started the inning with a double. Justice reached on the leaned error. He's at first. Drabek about to throw pitch number 129. The 3-0 to Bream. Ball 4. As hard as it is to believe, there are a lot of empty seats in the upper reaches of Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. And there are many people in the neighborhood who are making a U-turn in their car trying to come back. Jim Leland on his way to the mound to take out Doug Drabek. Stan Belinda will be the new pitcher. A brilliant effort by Doug Drabek. We'll find out if it was enough after this.
You're watching the 7th and deciding game of the 1992 NLCS between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Atlanta Braves on ESPN Classic.
Jim Leland leading 2-0. But it is a tenuous lead with the bases loaded for the Braves and nobody out in the bottom of the 9th inning in Game 7 of the National League Championship Series. Doug Drabek has departed after 8 innings plus 129 pitches. After the second walk that he issued tonight, Stan Belinda takes over.
The consideration now is, do you use a pinch runner for Sid Bream? The Atlanta Braves have Brian Hunter and 2 catchers. You wouldn't use the catcher. You want to save Hunter as a right-handed pinch hitter. That's why Bream's still in the game.
Belinda's first pitch to Ron Gant outside for ball 1. Gant hit a grand slam in Game 2 of this series last Wednesday afternoon off Bob Walk. Agonizing moments for Pirate fans everywhere, including those you just saw at the Clark Bar and Grill. Tying run at second, winning run at first. Gant hits one to left. Bonds on the track, at the wall, makes the catch. Pendleton on to score the first Atlanta run of the ball game.
Everybody exploding here in the stadium as though something good happened, but something bad happened for Atlanta. Something good happened for the Pirates. They got the sacrifice fly to left field and not to center or right, because the tying run's the guy who is still at second base, and that's David Justice. So 1 run scores, but for the most part, you're no closer getting David Justice home because he's still at second base.
And now a double play with the slow-footed Berryhill at the plate sends the Pirates to the World Series.
Even though Belinda is not a double play type pitcher, he throws high fastballs and rarely will throw a double play ball.
Two to 1. Pittsburgh leads in the bottom of the 9th. And Berryhill fouled one back to the screen. The tying run is Justice at second. Bream, a slow runner, represents the winning run at first base. Six-year-old Stan Belinda with the 0-1 pitch. A bit inside, perhaps just low. The run in this inning charged to Drabek. Brian Hunter has moved into the on-deck circle to bat for Rafael Belliard. There's been only 1 hit in this inning. It was the leadoff double by Pendleton. The error by Lean, the large play. Just missed. 2 balls and a strike. Berryhill wasn't supposed to be in this situation. Greg Olson would have been the catcher had he not broken his ankle in mid-September. Berryhill 1 for his last 11 in this series. The 2-1. Inside, ball 3.
Berryhill looking down at Jimmy Williams with a take sign. In my book, no way you take here. Choose a pitch, choose that imaginary box. If it's in it, smoke it.
3-1 pitch. Ball 4. Oh, so close was the last pitch to Berryhill.
And Mike LaValliere barking at home plate umpire Randy Marsh. He wanted it. He thought it was a strike.
There were a couple of close pitches in that sequence called balls. That moves the tying run to third. Now a deep fly ball would tie up the ball game, and the winning run is in scoring position. Brian Hunter has appeared in 2 games in this series. He's 1 for 4. Ray Miller on his way to the mound.
The interesting thing here is the only out of this inning was a fly ball to left field thrown by Stan Belinda. It was a sacrifice fly hit by Ron Gant. Stan Belinda throws about twice as many outs in the air as he does on the ground. He threw 1 double play grounder this year. With that in mind, Jim Leyland's going to keep the infield at halfway in double play depth, but it is very, very unlikely for Belinda to throw a double play grounder. It's more likely for him to get a strikeout, a pop-up, or a fly ball to the outfield.
Brian Hunter, one of the heroes of last year's Game 7. He hit a 2-run homer off John Smiley. He pulls that one foul past third. Stan Belinda, because he does give up a lot of fly balls, occasionally has a problem with the home run ball. He surrendered 8 of them in 71 innings. Bob Waugh throwing in the bullpen. Pittsburgh leads 2-1. 1 out and the bases loaded in the bottom of the 9th. Hunter, little looper, leaned is there and makes the catch. The runner tags but will not try it. 2 down in the bottom of the 9th.
Your attention, please.
And now the Braves season hangs in the balance as Francisco Cabrera comes to the plate to bat for the pitcher. He appeared in only 12 games this year for the Braves and batted only 10 times with 3 hits. He's 0 for 1 in this series. Belinda's first pitch, a breaking ball outside.
Now, if Belinda goes 2-0 to Cabrera, I'd have him take. He has not been up that much, and I think the chances then are better with a walk than a hit when you have to come off the bench and face a guy like Belinda.
A most unlikely man in the spotlight for Atlanta. 25-year-old Francisco Cabrera, who takes ball 2, 2-0. Pittsburgh 2, Atlanta 1, with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning in Game 7 of the National League Championship Series. The 2-0 pitch. Well hit, but hooking fouled and left. He had the green light on 2-0 and hammered it, but well fouled over the Pirate bullpen.
And hit it very, very hard. Right in his wheelhouse, and it hooks foul.
Doesn't walk much. He walked only 17 times in 300 at-bats in AAA this year. He hacked at the 2-0, now the 2-1. Line drive and a base hit! Just as the score, the tying run. Green to the plate. And he is safe! Safe at the plate! The Braves go to the World Series! The unlikeliest of heroes wins the National League Championship Series for the Atlanta Braves. Francisco Cabrera, who had only 10 at-bats in the major leagues during the regular season, singled through the left side, scoring Sid Bream from second base with the winning run. Bream, who's had 5 knee operations in his lifetime, just beat the tag of his ex-mate Mike LaValliere. And Atlanta pulls out Game 7 with 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning. The line scored for Game 7 for the Atlanta Braves, 3 runs, all of them in the bottom of the 9th inning. 7 hits and no errors for Pittsburgh. 2 runs, 7 hits, and 1 huge error by Jose Lean in the 9th inning. 2 of the 3 runs scored by Atlanta in the bottom of the 9th were unearned runs. And the greatest injustice of this postseason is the LP next to the name of Doug Drabek. He is the losing pitcher for the 3rd time in this series. He deserved a much better fate tonight.
After getting past the Pirates, the Braves headed north and took on the Toronto Blue Jays in the World Series. The series was nip and tuck all the way, with only 1 game being decided by more than 2 runs. In the end, however, the Blue Jays beat the Braves in 6 games and became the first Canadian team to win a World Series. Ironically, Francisco Cabrera's moment in the spotlight would be brief, having played his last Major League game a year later in 1993. We certainly hope you've enjoyed this presentation of Game 7 of the 1992 NLCS between the Atlanta Braves and the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm Mike Leeson. Thanks for watching ESPN Classic.